Hello and welcome to this live stream all about mental thoughts and self-limiting beliefs. Now, I have traveled down the rabbit holes of spirituality and a lot of information about metaphors and how what I'm going to share with you applied to how we stick to our diet and exercise. These metaphors about how creation works and how that creative process of masculine energy, feminine energy, and the inner child manifestation show up in our relationship with food and our exercise. So if you are meeting me for the very first time, please let me know that you're here. If you've been with me for a while, please say hello and let me know that you're here as well. If this is the first time that you're meeting me, my name is Lauren Saracione. In June of 2022 will be 21 years in fitness, and I have a lot of experience with chronic pain and disordered eating for myself. And then also a lot of the clients that I have come to me initially because they had something that was kind of wonky in their body, and then now they're just moving more athletically, and then we're also doing some like pain management stuff. Now, the reason why I'm sharing with you a little bit more of the pain side is because I want you to start thinking about what it is to be in pain and what it is to administer punishment. Because our pain and our punishment that we have in our body, so stored energetically in our body, when we have pain and punishment vibes hanging out in our storage system, we will misplace those energies onto things that we feel are going to relieve us of the pain and reward us for how good we are. So this can show up in our relationships and our finances, in our career. And I really understand it deeply in relationship with the body because that's where I have taken out my pain and punishment. So when we're looking at the pain and punishment that happens in the mental area, like I said, all these metaphors and spiritual analogies and stuff, mental is associated with masculine energy. The sun, going forth, becoming, being the light in the darkness. And that's all well and good, but the problem is, there's lots of problems. One of the problems is when we are so into our masculine energy and so focused on being the light, instead of integrating our pain and figuring out why we feel the need to punish, we're really just running away from it. And I call it overcorrecting, that we're trying so hard to get rid of our pain and we're trying so hard to become something that we think punishing ourselves into submission or into the outcome is going to work. This is why so many of us use diet and exercise as a way to punish ourselves for what we ate or how we think we're not good enough in some way. So when we're looking at how this shows up in the body and how it shows up for the diet and the exercise, when we are little, we're in download only. We're like a supercomputer. And everything that we feel in the vibration of the environment, like our spidey senses, when the hairs stand up on the back of your neck, that's vibrational emotional awareness. So your body is kind of like your smartphone, and it is looking for Wi-Fi signals for information to download to then have the experience on the phone. Well, your vibrational emotional body is doing that. It's picking up information in the field. And when your body picks up the information in the field through vibration, the cells in your body start to vibrate. And since the cells are underneath your skin, there are neurochemicals that go up into your brain of your cells sending a signal to ask, is this what I'm feeling? Is this safe? Should I be here? Do I like this? Do I feel weirded out? Is it stuffy in here? Are these people, is this a vibe? Is it open and energetic? So your cells send this question up to your brain. And your brain, being the computer that it is basically is just like a filing system. And so when that question comes up to the brain from the cells, from the environment, and your brain says, yes, you are feeling the heebie-jeebies because This is just like that other time. Or if you observe something like a movie or a cartoon, maybe that will come to mind. And that mental thought confirms the vibrational sensation that your body was experiencing. And we've gotten so far removed from a relationship with our body that we perceive it as something that we do things to versus something that is working with us and is part of us. And we know this because of the abuse that we put it through with our diet and our exercise. So this vibrational, emotional body that gets into action, and the cells start to vibrate, and then the message goes up to the brain, and the brain says, yes, this is how we feel. Well, if we have really low vibrations, sad emotions, disappointment emotions, because of the interaction that we had with our father or the father figure, those low vibe emotions are going to send a signal when they're activated to the brain. And the brain, remember, this is the masculine, this is the daddy, this is the focus, this is the becoming, this is the correcting. So if our brain if our brain can feel sadness and unworthiness, and I feel like crap about myself. I hate when I sit on the toilet and my stomach touches my thighs. I hate that I can see cellulite. When your feeling body is going through that unconscious state because you're having this conversation with yourself about your body, and the vibration starts to really get active. This is like when we feel bad about one thought, and then all of a sudden just everything is catastrophic, right? Well, we're creating that within ourselves because it's stored. I wanted to explain to you how the vibrational body picks up information in the field because that's part of its job, but you have a field too. So when we have a relationship with the father or father figure that makes us feel sad and unseen, and we feel really disappointed, or we feel that we're not valued, we can take those feelings as the little child and we just hold on to them. Because part of the thing that's happening with being a little child is you're learning how to be human based on the overarching environment, so the vibes, the tension in the air, or the peacefulness in the air. And we're figuring out what it is to be human by the people around us. And then we're also finding out what it's like to be human by our own perception of it. So if we have an interaction with our father or father figure that doesn't feel good, it's before 10 a.m. for the office. If we have an interaction with our father that makes us feel unseen or doesn't make us feel good, we store that information in our feminine body, in our emotional body, because feminine relates to emotion. So we have these really sad feelings in our body. And when we're a little kid, we may figure out some way to get attention from that father or father figure. And so if we create a solution, might not be a constructive solution, but in our inner child brain, if we create a solution for getting that need met from what the father or father figure is supposed to provide for us, leadership, safety, direction, guidance, when we don't have those from the prescribed energetic holder, whether you're male or female, it's just an energetic masculine thing. When we don't have that, and we create solutions, even if they're destructive, to get that attention from the father or father figure, and it happens even for a quick second, we just created a mental emotional identity that says, when I feel this way, if I do this, then I will get the thing that you want, right? Attention, love, approval, whatever. So when we have this, kind of messed up father figure relationship, and we create a mental emotional identity that is a if-then statement, and this is how I operate because this is what worked before, and we don't ever come to a point in our adult brain that says, actually, everything that you're doing here, your cause and effect of your low vibe emotions and then what you're doing to try to get your emotional needs met is really fucked. Unless we have that, then we will use whatever out there in the world to act as the father figure that we figured out how to manipulate. Does that make sense? So instead of us, really, diving into the nuances of the relationship of a parental figure that is in masculine energy, instead of that, what we do is we stand as an adult as a singular organism, and we look at the body, because the body is the thing that we see first. The body is the thing that is picked apart. The body is the thing that culturally, lets us into society to be part of the crowd or not. The body is what we judge, So we take the thing that's closest to us, and then we personify the diet and the exercise. And we do that mental, emotional identity pattern on ourselves with the food and the exercise. Are you with me? So what that means is we get a feeling in our body where we feel really gross. We're like so disgusted with our body. So we're like over it. We need to lose 20 pounds yesterday. We want to be super fit, super hot. We want to be like really comfortable in a bikini. We want all the accolades that come with, look at you, you're so disciplined. There's something special about you. Like those things, like if you ever look at someone and you feel a sense of admiration for what they can do that you can't bring yourself to do, that reaching for, we put that up on a pedestal, and it's almost like that pedestal body is the feeling that we had about the relationship that we wanted with the father figure. So now we have the father figure energy, being seen, being loved, being cared for, being taken care of. And we put all of that on an exterior shell of the body that we want. And we take a look at our environment, and we take a look at Instagram, at all of the people having a body that you like, that you wish you had. You look at their lifestyle, and you're like, well, if I just did the gallon of water, the macros, the no sugar, the no gluten, the only green juice smoothies, if I did spinning, then I would have that. So we take those habits and we put them into punishment and reward, because we still have that little child mental emotional state that's saying, if I do these things, dad will see me. But remember, we misplace the relationship of the masculine energy as our guidance energy onto an exterior shell of a body. And we did that person's habits, or what we think we should be doing, as the thing to do, because we have to earn to then get to that body, to then feel the way we think that we're going to feel from when we were little. And I know this. We all know this. I know this in my personal experience, and I know this in experience with some of my clients who will tell me something that happened with one of their parents. Could be either one. We'll talk about mama drama in a couple of weeks. Talk about some experience where their parental figure said or did something about their worth. Sometimes it will be directly about their body, but a lot of times it's just about them as a whole. So we understand this. There's books written about it. We know this. So how do we change it, right? Well, what you can do if that related to you of looking at a body and looking at all the things that that person is doing, and then you're going to do all the things, but you're not going to do them because it's what works for your body. You're going to do them because you think if you do, you will earn that approval that you think the body is going to give you. So what you can do, okay, when you feel your masculine, your pain, reward, and punishment cycles start to flare up, if you start to run in your head all of the things that you must do to get your body in shape, when you start running that list, that is your indication that you are triggered emotionally. And because the sensation is starting to come up in your body, you are unconsciously aware of the sensation. You don't know that your inner child is activated and actually like deep inside your heart, surrounded by darkness, all alone, with scrapes and cuts and bruises and crying, and your inner child is actually at this point screaming because something happened that poked the wound of the inner child. The approval wound, the happy wound, the fulfillment wound of the energies that we ideally would have gotten from the masculine energy of the father or father figure. So that's what's happening on the inside. So your inner child is active, the vibration is active, but because it's so old from that mental, emotional, inner child, most likely 0 to 7 age, you don't know. You consciously do not know because this is a part of you that's buried. What you do know is the list that goes off in your head about how you're going to diet on Monday, how you're going to do your 10,000 steps, how you're going to drink your water, how you're going to, write in all your macros, how you're going to work out 6 days a week, how you're going to meditate for a half hour every single day, how you're going to cut out your sugar, how you're going to cut out your gluten. That mental thought pattern that's happening is happening because the vibration from the inner child wound is now active. So when that list starts to happen, it's going to be really difficult because in your brain and in your heart, you are going to believe with all of your strength that if you follow through on this list, if this is really the time that you follow through, then you will be happy, then you will be fulfilled, and then this inner angst will go away. That's what the list makes you think is going to happen. If you can, try to breathe. And this is like so cliche, but try to feel what you're feeling. Breathe. Feel, write down words, descriptive emotions, lonely, melancholy, forlorn. Like go to the thesaurus and look those up. Breathe, feel, and I just lost it here for a second because I was like, be clear, go over them one more time. That you want to breathe, you want to feel, and before you move on to actually do anything, I want you to see, thanks Renee, I want you to see if you can visualize or feel or sense or journal, write down, maybe even look at your calendar. Look at what has happened in your life in like the last 3 days. Because you may have encountered something that triggered you unconsciously in a vibration that made you feel pain, made you feel like you weren't good enough, made you feel like you did something wrong. Because if you can look back at your interactions with other people or the environment, like especially with what's going on the news, they all have emotions. Because emotions are the description of the measurement of energy. So breathe, feel what you're feeling, and then look back at what happened in the last 3 days. Because in order for you to have this list going off in your head of what you're going to do to make your body be the way that you want it to be, the only way that thought process and the masculine overcorrection energy, the daddy issues energy, the only way that became active is because energetically the frequency started to emanate from the body. So your brain just got encompassed with all of this information of a Wi-Fi signal of low vibration emotions. Your cells started to vibrate and they asked the question. So you have your emotional, energetic body with vibration out in the field, watching something on a screen, and you have the chemical, emotional body within you doing the same thing, saying the same emotion, bringing you back to being the inner child, which then clicks on the brain to say, this is how I get out of this feeling, which is the list, what to do to the body to feel better when we're actually after the feeling better of having balanced masculine energy from the father figure. That makes sense? It's my first time, I think, like explaining it this way, because I want to go live every day and go back and forth between mental, emotional, to really help you understand how to look at energy and the experience that you have in your body objectively. Which, like, objectively is like a really bad word, because people say that it takes you out of the whole experience and that you're not being compassionate for other people. But we have multiple ways of dealing with our experience. We have the physical, mechanical, joints, muscles, ligaments, tendon. We have the chemical of what's going on underneath our skin, and we have the energetic, that we are all surrounded by energetic waves just to be able to operate our phones without a cord plugged into a wall for internet. So we have multiple ways to approach our body so that we're not so taken out by the sensations in it when we're working on something. So be objective with your experience. See if you can notice the list start to run off in your head. Stop. Don't do the list, because you're just compounding this energy by doing that. Stop, breathe, feel, and then reflect on what your body or your mind has interacted with in the last 3 days that may have set you off. Because a lot of this stuff, the outside in triggering us, is because we interacted with something out there in the world or in a relationship that is the same energetic frequency of the stuff that we have inside. So it's really beneficial to like just scan back to 3 days, because if you had something major happen that in the moment it was just life, you just dealt with it. But if you really look at it, you're like, actually, that was kind of a big deal. And I felt really disempowered when that happened. And we just need one energetic shift for us to start slipping and leave our conscious mind and be unaware to how energy works. And then all of a sudden we're in that downhill spiral. We can definitely relate to it if we overeat. Like if we eat like a crappy lunch and we're dieting and we eat a crappy lunch and then it's nighttime and you're like, well, you know, I already screwed up my diet, so I might as well eat the leftovers. I'm just going to eat half a pizza. And like an hour later, you're like, well, I already screwed up with dinner, so I might as well just have, you know, ice cream. And then we eat a pint of ice cream because we're like, well, at this point, what does it really matter? I'll just start over tomorrow. And then tomorrow you feel like shit, right? Anyway, so let me know if this was helpful. Oh, yay! Renee said so true. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that confirmation. If this was helpful, please share it with people so that, oh, yeah, she says I eat my anxiety. Yeah, me too. I was always envious of people who, when they got fluttery in their stomach, they lost their appetite, because I always like stuffed myself to try to get that feeling away. And I always wish that I was someone who didn't do that. That's all I got for you. So let me know. Yay. Thanks for saying that. Let her know. She says I'm magic. Yeah. So actually, Renee, what you can do is, everyone, Body Energetics on Facebook group. I didn't do a meditation this weekend because my back was just way too messed up. I didn't feel like it. And, but I'm going to do a live Q&A with Zoom. So if you want help with really understanding how this stuff works, we go to Body Energetics because I do weekly meditations to take you into your energetic system so that you can perceive the energy that's stored in your body in a new way. The Q&A is something that I just announced so that when you're hearing me do these live streams here about mental or emotional or inner child, and you do the energetic work in the meditation and stuff actually starts to come up that's ready to be processed, the Q&A is an opportunity for you to ask questions about it so that I can help you through that process. So that's the free community stuff. here, the guided meditations, and eventually a Zoom Q&A. I do have a masterclass that's coming up on March 30th, I think. Yeah, next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. It's $99. I'm going to explain to you a little bit differently how the mental energy works, the positive overcorrection of what's happening with our feminine energy. And that class is $99. You'll have the replay forever. And if you want to do a month of integration on the topic of thoughts and beliefs and masculine energy and the doing process, because the masculine energy has a lot to do with the doing, there's a month-long mastermind that I will be available to you basically Monday through Friday to help you with whatever is coming up as you're working on integrating the things that I'm sharing with you. So we've got free here, free meditation, free Q&A, $99 masterclass, and then a month of integration as you incorporate these principles into your life. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much, Renee, for being here.